Are things unraveling in Washington when you have an NSA leaker, which is a driving force behind Michael Riley's article on the Red Phone, which we knew about before, but the scope of it in Illinois and hacking, and then all the other soap opera as well? Is it your sense that things are unraveling?
First, thank you for the opportunity and the blessing to serve your agenda. That's a quote from a cabinet meeting yesterday that we were in. We're in a weird period in Washington.
But were you Ben Carson, who's going to be with us today, or were you, I mean, Tillerson and Mattis actually tried to act like adults, or were you giving me the full Vice President Pence?
No, that was the previous quote.
That was the previous quote, okay.
Thank you for the opportunity and blessing to serve your agenda.
It's a blessing to have Gideon Rose with us today, Francine.
Look, you know, all this stuff, my initial reaction to it, all the stuff you're saying, right, is inconceivable. But in the Trump era, we no longer know what that word means. So the commentary about what we expect or what constitutes a crisis or what constitutes something out of the ordinary these days are everything we think we know about politics and American foreign policy is basically up in the air right now. So we're in this very, very strange period.
Francine, I can't emphasize enough at 7 p.m. last night, the coordinated effort to talk about this Mueller firing. I want to be very careful about this, folks. It's on the cover of the New York Times and the Washington Post. But is it news when people are just gossiping about it on TV? That's sort of the framework, Francine.
Yeah, and I think that's exactly the question that we need to try and address. And Gideon, to Tom's point, and given that you said everything's up in the air, is this not an opportunity to reset and reboot? And actually, how do you reboot foreign policy from the United States at this point?
Well, that's a great lead-in, actually, because the lead piece in our new issue that Tom just held up is exactly about that. It's a piece by Richard Haass of the Council on Foreign Relations, which argues that there is indeed an opportunity now to put forward a sort of broad agenda for American foreign policy that's rational and responsible, that serves American interests and the world's interests together. As Richard says, there's no inherent contradiction between American patriotism and responsible global leadership. The challenge is how to actually make that work in practice. So the Trump administration they have the people and they have some of the situations and the opportunities and support in Congress for a real serious American foreign policy. They haven't yet articulated that or demonstrated a strategic vision yet. So we're waiting.
Some days